No Man is an Island by John Donne. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a cloud be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less. As well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thy friends, or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sound's the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day by William Shakespeare? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of thou fair Alps, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. When in eternal lines to time thou growest, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. There will come soft rain by Sarah Teasdale. There will come soft rain in the smell of ground, and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pool singing at night, and wild plum trees in their tremulous white. Robins will wear their feathery fire, whistling their whims on a low fence wire. And not one will know of the war, not one will care at last when it's done. Not one would mind, neither bird nor tree, if mankind perished utterly. And spring herself, when she woke at dawn, would scarcely know that we were gone. O Captain, My Captain by Walt Whitman. O Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every wrack, the prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and daring. But O heart, 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 O the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my captain lies, falling cold and dead. O Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up! For you the flag is flung, for you the bugle trills, for you bouquets and ribboned wreaths, for you the shores are crowding. For you they call, the swaying mass, their eager faces turning. Here, Captain, dear father, this arm beneath your head. It is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead. My captain does not answer, his lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm, he has no pulse or will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, the voyage closed and done. From fearful trip the victor ship comes in with object won. Exult, O shores, O ring, O bells, but I, with mournful tread, walk the deck my captain lies, fallen cold and dead. Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Dreams by Langston Hughes. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. Trees by Joyce Kilmer. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is oppressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with the rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. On the pedestal these words appear: My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty in despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when with elation you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit here, eat." You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. If You Forget Me by Pablo Neruda. I want you to know one thing. You know how this is. If I look at the crystal moon, at the red branch of the slow autumn at my window, if I touch near the fire the impalpable ash or the wrinkled body of the log, everything carries me to you, as if everything that exists, aromas, light, metals, were little boats that sail towards those isles of yours that wait for me. Well now, if little by little you stop loving me, I shall stop loving you little by little. If suddenly you forget me, do not look for me, for I shall already have forgotten you. If you think it long and mad the wind of banners that passes through my life, and you decide to leave me at the shore of the heart where I have roots, remember that on that day, at that hour, I shall lift my arms and my roots will set off to seek another land. But if each day, each hour, you feel that you are destined for me with implacable sweetness, if each day a flower climbs to your lips to seek me, ah, my love, ah, my own, in me all that fire is repeated, in me nothing is extinguished or forgotten. My love feeds on your love, beloved, and as long as you live, it will be in your arms without leaving mine. Do Not Stand at My Grave and Weep, by Mary Elizabeth Fry. Do not stand at my grave and weep, I am not there, I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow, I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain, I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry, I am not there, I did not die. I do not love you except because I love you, by Pablo Neruda. I do not love you except because I love you. I go from loving to not loving you, from waiting to not waiting for you. My heart moves from cold to fire. I love you only because it's you, the one I love. I hate you deeply, and hating you, bend to you, and the measure of my changing love for you is that I do not see you but love you blindly. Maybe January light will consume my heart with its cruel ray, stealing my key to true calm. In this part of the story, I am the one who dies, the only one, and I will die of love because I love you, because I love you, love, in fire and blood. A Dream Within a Dream, by Edgar Allan Poe. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow. You are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less is gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep. While I weep, O God, I cannot grasp them with a tighter clasp. O God, I cannot save one from the pitiless wave. Is it all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? How Do I Love Thee, by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and the breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight. For the ends of being and ideal grace, I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love with a passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smile, tears of all my life, and if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. Invictus, by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced or cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So Tired Blues by Langston Hughes. With the sun in my hand, gonna throw the sun way across the land, 'cause I'm tired, tired as I can be. Warning by Jenny Joseph. When I am an old woman, I shall wear purple, with a red hat which doesn't go and doesn't suit me. And I shall spend my pension on brandy and summer gloves and satin sandals and say we've no money for butter. I shall sit down on the pavement when I'm tired and gobble up samples in shops and press alarm bells and run my stick along the public railings and make up for the sobriety of my youth. I shall go out in my slippers in the rain and pick flowers in other people's gardens and learn to spit. You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat and eat 3 pounds of sausages at a go, or only bread and pickle for a week. And hoard pens and pencils and beer mats and things in boxes. But now we must have clothes that keep us dry, and pay our rent and not swear in the street, and set a good example for children. We must have friends to dinner and read the papers. But maybe I ought to practice a little now, so people who know me are not too shocked and surprised when suddenly I am old and start to wear purple. On the Ning Nang Nong by Spike Milligan. On the Ning Nang Nong, where the cows go bong and the monkeys all say boo, there's a Nong Nang Ning, where the trees go ping and the teapots jibber jabber jew. On the Nong Ning Nang, all the mice go clang, and you just can't catch 'em when they do. So it's Ning Nang Nong, cows go bong, Nong Nang Ning, trees go ping, Nong Ning Nang, the mice go clang. What a noisy place to belong is the Ning Nang Ning Nang Nong. Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay, rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way, do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay, rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my Father, there on that sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could have bashed the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. A Poison Tree by William Blake. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow. And I watered it with fears, night and morning with my tears. And I sunned it with smiles, and with soft, deceitful wiles. And it grew both by day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole, in the morning glad to see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. I Choose the Mountain by Howard Simon. The lowlands call, I am tempted to answer. They are offering me a free dwelling without having to conquer. The massive mountain makes its move, beckoning me to ascend. A much more difficult path to get up the slippery bend. I cannot choose both. I have a choice to make. I must be wise. This will determine my fate. I choose the mountain, with all its stress and strain, because only by climbing can I rise above the plain. I choose the mountain, and I will never stop climbing. I choose the mountain, and I shall forever be ascending. I choose the mountain. She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. Time Is by Henry Van Dyke. Time is too slow for those who wait, too swift for those who fear, too long for those who grieve, too short for those who rejoice. But for those who love, time is not. You'll Love Me Yet by Robert Browning. You'll love me yet, and I can tarry your love's protracted growing. June reared that bunch of flowers you carry from seeds of April sowing. I plant a heartful now, some seed at least is sure to strike, and yield what you'll not pluck indeed, not love, but maybe like. You'll look at least on love's remains, a grave one's violet. Your look, that pays 1,000 pains. What's death? You'll love me yet. Ultimately by Ernest Hemingway. He tried to spit out the truth, dried mouth at first. He drooled and slobbed in the end, truth dribbling his chin. Transfiguration by Louisa May Alcott. Mysterious death, who in a single hour life's goal can so refine, and by thy art divine change mortal weakness to immortal power. Bending beneath the weight of 80 years spent with the noble strife of victorious life, we watched her fading heavenward through our tears. But ere the sense of loss our hearts had wrung, a miracle was wrought, and swift as happy thought she lived again, brave, beautiful, and young. Age, pain, and sorrow dropped the veils they wore, and showed the tender eyes of angels in disguise, whose discipline so patiently she bore. The past years brought their harvest rich and fair, while memory and love together fondly wove a golden garland for the silver hair. How could we mourn like those who are bereft, when every pang of grief found balm for its relief in counting up the treasures she had left? Faith that withstood the shocks of toil and time, hope that defied despair, patience that conquered care, and loyalty whose courage was sublime. The great deep heart that was a home for all, just, eloquent, and strong, in protest against wrong, wide charity that knew no sin, no fall. The Spartan spirit that made life so grand, mating poor daily needs with high heroic deeds, that wrested happiness from fate's hard hand. We thought to weep, but sing for joy instead, full of grateful peace that follows her release. For nothing but the weary dust lie dead. O noble woman, never more a queen than in the laying down of scepter and of crown, to win a greater kingdom yet unseen, teaching us how to seek the highest goal, to earn the true success, to live, to love, to bless, and make death proud to take a royal soul. Sorrow by Aubrey Thomas de Vere. Count each affliction, whether light or grave, God's messenger sent down to thee. Do thou with curtsy receive him, rise and bow, and ere his shadow pass thy threshold, crave permission first his heavenly feet to lave. Then lay down before him all thou hast, allow no cloud of passion to usurp thy brow, or mar thy hospitality, no wave of mortal tumult to obliterate the soul's marmoreal calmness. Grief should be like joy, majestic, equable, sedate, confirming, cleansing, raising, making free, strong to consume small troubles, to commend great thoughts, grave thoughts, thoughts lasting to the end. Nothing Will Die by Alfred Lord Tennyson. When will the stream be aweary of flowing under my eye? When will the wind be aweary of blowing over the sky? When will the clouds be aweary of fleeting? When will the heart be aweary of beating, and nature die? Never, oh never, nothing will die. The stream flows, the wind blows, the cloud fleets, the heart beats. Nothing will die. Nothing will die. All things will change through eternity. 'Tis the world's winter. Autumn and summer are long ago. Earth is dry to the center, but spring, a newcomer, a spring rich and strange, shall make the winds blow round and round, through and through, here and there, till the air and the ground shall be filled with life anew. The world was never made. It will change, but it will not fade. So let the wind range, for even and morn ever will be through eternity. Nothing was born, nothing will die, all things will change. Daylight and Moonlight by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. In broad daylight and at noon yesterday I saw the moon, sailing high but faint and white as the schoolboy's paper kite. In broad daylight yesterday I read a poet's mystic lay, and it seemed to me at most as a phantom or a ghost. But at length the feverish day like a passion died away, and the night serene and still fell on village, vale, and hill. Then the moon in all her pride, like a spirit glorified, filled and overflowed the night with revelations of her light. And the poet's song again passed like music through my brain. Night interpreted to me all its grace and mystery. Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome race outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird and the shun, the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the Manscombe foe he sought, so rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood awhile in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffing through the toogly wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through. The vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, callooh, callay. he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig and the slivy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave, all mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome race outgrabe. You should appear less often in my dreams, by Anna Akhmatova. You should appear less often in my dreams, since we meet so frequently. Yet only a night sanctuary are you sad, troubled, and tender, and sweeter than seraphic praise is your lips' dear flattery. Ah, in dreams you won't mistake my name, or gently sigh as you do here. The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gate shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor the twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Wishes by Dora Sigerson Shorter. I wish we could live as flowers live, to breathe and to bloom in the summer and sun, to slumber and sway in the heart of the night, and to die when our glory had done. I wish we could love as the bees love, to rest or to roam without sorrow or sigh, with laughter, when, after the wooer had won, love flew with a whispered goodbye. I wish we could die as the birds die, to fly and to fall when our beauty was best. No trammels of time on the years of our face, and to leave but an empty nest. Alone by Maya Angelou. Lying thinking last night how to find my soul a home, where water is not thirsty and bread loaf is not stone. I came up with one thing, and I don't believe I'm wrong, that nobody, but nobody, can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone, nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. There are some millionaires with money they can't use. Their wives run around like banshees, their children sing the blues. They've got expensive doctors to cure their hearts of stone, but nobody, no nobody, can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone, nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. Now if you listen closely, I'll tell you what I know. Storm clouds are gathering, the wind is gonna blow. The race of man is suffering, and I can hear the moan. 'Cause nobody, but nobody, can make it out here alone. Alone, all alone, nobody, but nobody, can make it out here alone. Since Feeling is First by E. Cummings. Since feeling is first, who pays any attention to the syntax of things will never wholly kiss you. Wholly to be a fool, while spring is in the world. My blood approves, and kisses are a better fate than wisdom. Lady, I swear by all flowers, don't cry. The best gesture of my brain is less than your eyelids' flutter, which says, we are for each other. Then laugh, leaning back in my arms, for life's not a paragraph. And death, I think, is no parentheses. Requiem by Robert Louis Stevenson. Under the wide and starry sky, dig the grave and let me lie. Gladly did I live and gladly die, and I laid me down with a will. This be the verse that you grave for me. Here he lies where he longed to be. Home is the sailor home from sea, and the hunter home from the hill. A Time to Talk by Robert Frost. When a friend calls to me from the road and slows his horse to a meaning walk, I don't stand still and look around on all the hills I haven't hoed, and shout from where I am, what is it? No, not as there is time to talk. I thrust my hoe in the mellow ground, blade end up and 5 feet tall, and plod. I go up to the stone wall for a friendly visit. In Blackwater Woods by Mary Oliver. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of ponds, and every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this. The fires in the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do 3 things. To love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go. To let it go. Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief, so dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. Gone from My Sight by Henry Van Dyke. I am standing upon the seashore. A ship at my side spreads her white sails to the moving breeze and starts for the blue ocean. She is an object of beauty and strength. I stand and watch her until at length she hangs like a speck of white just where the sea and the sky come to mingle with each other. Then someone at my side says, "There, she is gone." Gone where? Gone from my sight, that is all. She is just as large in mast, hull, and spar as she was when she left my side, and she is just as able to bear her load of living freight to her destined port. Her diminished size is in me, not in her. And just at the moment when someone says, "There, she is gone," there are other eyes watching her coming, and other voices ready to take up the glad shout, "Here she comes!" And that is dying. Hyla Brook by Robert Frost. By June our brooks run out of song and speed. Sought for much after that it will be found, either to have gone groping underground, and taken with it all the Hyla breed, that shouted in the mist a month ago, like ghosts of sleigh bells in a ghost of snow, or flourished and come up in jewel weed, weak foliage that is blown upon and bent, even against the way its waters went. Its bed is left a faded paper sheet of dead leaves stuck together by the heat, a brook to none but who remember long. This, as it will be seen, is other far than with brooks taken otherwhere in song. We love the things we love for what they are. The Day is Done by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The day is done and the darkness falls from the wings of night as a feather is wafted downward from an eagle in his flight. I see the lights of the village gleam through the rain and the mist, and a feeling of sadness comes over me that my soul cannot resist. A feeling of sadness and longing that is not akin to pain, and resembles sorrow only, as the mist resembles the rain. Come, read to me some poem, some simple and heartfelt lay, that shall soothe this restless feeling, and banish the thoughts of day. Not from the grand old masters, not from the barbs sublime, whose distant footsteps echo through the corridors of time. For like strains of martial music, their mighty thoughts suggest life's endless toil and endeavor, and tonight I long for rest. Read from some humbler poet, whose songs gush from his heart, as showers from the clouds of summer, or tears from eyelids start, who through long days of labor and nights devoid of ease, still are heard in his soul the music of wonderful melodies. Such songs have power to quiet the restless pulse of care that comes like a benediction that follows after prayer. Then read from the treasured volume the poem of thy choice, and lend to the rhyme of the poet the beauty of thy voice. And the night shall be filled with music, and the cares that infest the day shall fold their tents like the Arabs, and as silently steal away. Snowflakes by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Out of the bosom of the air, out of the cloud folds of her garment shaken, over the woodlands brown and bare, over the harvest fields forsaken, silent and soft and slow descends the snow. Even as our cloudy fancies take suddenly shape in some divine expression, even as the troubled heart doth make in the white countenance confession, the troubled sky reveals the grief it feels. This is the poem of the air, slowly in silent syllables recorded. This is the secret of despair, long in its cloudy bosom hoarded, now whispered and revealed to wood and field. A Girl by Ezra Pound. The tree has entered my hands. The sap has ascended my arms. The tree has grown in my breast downward. The branches grow out of me like arms. Tree you are, moss you are violets with wind above them. A child so high you are, and all this is folly to the world. There is Another Sky by Emily Dickinson. There is another sky, ever serene and fair, and there is another sunshine, though it be darkness there. Never mind faded forests, Austin, never mind silent fields. Here is a little forest, whose leaf is evergreen. Here is a brighter garden, where not a frost has been. In its unfading flowers I hear the bright bee hum. Prithee, my brother, into my garden come. Happiness by Raymond Carver. So early it's still almost dark out. I'm near the window with coffee and the usual early morning stuff that passes for thought, when I see the boy and his friend walking up the road to deliver the newspaper. They wear caps and sweaters, and one boy has a bag over his shoulder. They are so happy. They aren't saying anything, these boys. I think if they could, they would take each other's arm. It's early in the morning, and they are doing this thing together. They come on slowly, the sky is taking on light, though the moon still hangs pale over the water. Such beauty for that minute. Death and ambition, even love, doesn't enter into this. Happiness, it comes unexpectedly, and goes beyond, really. Any early morning, talk about it. Dream Deferred by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? I Loved You by Alexander Pushkin. I loved you, and I probably still do, and for a while the feeling may remain. But let my love no longer trouble you. I do not wish to cause you any pain. I loved you. In the hopelessness I knew, the jealousy, the shyness, though in vain, made up a love so tender and so true as may God grant you to be loved again. I Have Loved Flowers That Fade by Robert Bridges. I have loved flowers that fade, within whose magic tents rich hues have marriage made with sweet unmemoried scents. A honeymoon delight, a joy of love at sight, that ages in an hour, my song be like a flower. I have loved airs that die, before their charm is writ, along a liquid sky, trembling to welcome it. Notes that with pulse of fire proclaim the spirit's desire, then die and are nowhere. My song be like an air. Die, song, die like a breath, and wither as a bloom. Fear not a flowery death, dread not an airy tomb. Fly with delight, fly hence. 'Twas thine love's tender sense to feast now on thy bier. Beauty shall shed a tear. I Am Not Yours by Sarah Teasdale. I am not yours, not lost in you, not lost, although I long to be, lost as a candle lit at noon, lost as a snowflake in the sea. You love me, and I find you still a spirit beautiful and bright, yet I am I, who long to be lost as a light is lost in light. Oh, plunge me deep in love, put out my senses, leave me deaf and blind, swept by the tempest of your love, a taper in a rushing wind. A Poet to His Beloved by William Butler Yeats. I bring you with reverent hands to the books of my numberless dreams, white woman that passion has worn as the tide wears the dove-gray sands, and with a heart more old than the horn that is brimmed with the pale fire of time, white woman with numberless dreams, I bring you my passionate rhyme. Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. There is a place where the sidewalk ends and before the street begins, and there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moonbird rests from his flight, to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black, and the dark street winds and bends. Past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow, we shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk-white arrows go to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk-white arrows go, for the children they mark and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. Thank you for listening. This has been Jesse Speed, January 2021.